like this, the great heaven knows that we wish we had not so many clothes. So let's loosen up with a playful tease, like all lovers did through the centuries. We're just following into history. If I strip for you, will you strip for me? We're just following into history. If I strip for you, will you strip for me? When it gets so hot, the end of the day, you may find your clothes getting in the way. If a pretty dress hides your true desire, fold it nice and slow, throw it on the fire. We're just following into history. If I strip for you, will you strip for me? We're just following into history. If I strip for you, will you strip for me? We don't need to see what the butler saw, or a mirrored room with a mirrored floor, or the sneaky looks gazing down on you are no substitute for our rendezvous. We're just following into history. If I strip for you, will you strip for me? We're just following into history. If I strip for you, will you strip for me?
For times like this, the great heaven knows that we wish we had not so many clothes. So let's loosen up with a playful tease, like all lovers did through the centuries.
If you think it's cheap or a bit risque, please don't say a word, I'll just slip away. I am not a man who believes in lies, like an octopus with big X-ray eyes. Don't raise up, girl, you're looking quite excited. A bit generous, all out tonight.
The other day, I heard someone say that they found some of the most important things in their life in places where they weren't supposed to find them, which is interesting to me. One, because that seems to happen a lot. And two, because it's like, who creates the parameters around what we're supposed to do? Who sets the rules to begin with? You know, I'm continuously blown away by our tendency to create imaginary walls and then live within them. To build steel bars around ourselves that separate the now from future opportunity. In one of the first videos I ever made, I talked about this nagging feeling of discomfort that occurred right after I left the corporate world and started my own business. And at that point, to call it a business was giving myself a lot of credit. I was basically just starting to make videos and put them out on social media. But I would run in the middle of the day, right? That was my thing, right through Boston, along the Charles River. I loved running. But I couldn't help feeling this guilt, like I wasn't supposed to. Like I was doing the wrong thing, doing what I was taught not to do. My whole life, I learned that you go to school or work during the day. That's the right thing. And a decade removed, I've grown and I've learned. I know how crazy it sounds now. But it took me a long time to even enjoy it and not feel like some deviant who was leaving everything he'd worked for up to that point to go and fail spectacularly. Right? The supposed to followed me around like a shadow, constantly trying to pull me back in. Freedom to me is separating oneself from this exact sentiment. It's doing what's best for you, exploring your own worldview, blazing, as the saying goes, your own trail. because you'll find very few supposed to's there. And I think this is a microcosm of a greater truth. The most important things we do in life, our pivotal moments, our epiphanies, are found where we weren't supposed to find them. Because what we're supposed to do is very rarely methodically thought out. It's simply the norm. It's marching orders. It's what the crowd is doing. It's what will help us blend in. And it's interesting, as I've pushed further and further into life, I've come to believe that rarely is what's best all one thing or all another. It's working to find a balance that supports your ideal life trajectory. Like that balance will lean substantially more one way or another depending on who you are and what's important to you. And so I'm not suggesting one always needs to be different, or if something is common, it's wrong. No, thousands of years of evolution and societal stressors have in many ways narrowed down for us what's effective and efficient. It's helped us survive. And to dismiss this outright is obviously counterproductive, but it does explain why any break from these norms physically hurts. We associate them with survival. And here lies the divide between surviving, which we are supposed to do, and excelling, which is to embark upon a different game altogether. Survival is mitigating risk. Excelling is hunting down the opportunity. Survival is blending in. Excelling is asking, what about me is unique and how can I dive into that fully? Survival is not having to innovate on any large scale because the instructions are clear and laid out. Excelling is asking, now that I know the rules, how can I bend and maybe even break them so that I can improve my life and the lives of those around me? And I'll continue with the same example because I know a lot of folks find themselves in a similar situation now. I wasn't supposed to deviate from my previous life trajectory, my education, my career track, my 401k, but I did. And I found something I otherwise would never have, an ability to work on what I enjoy and share that with others. I wasn't supposed to leave home, the Northeast. The most important people in my life live there. But I've found comfort, peace, and new beginnings down here that I never would have experienced. I wasn't supposed to do many of the things I'm doing today. It was a genuine curiosity and a willingness to chase down what's meaningful. And the beautiful thing is, anyone can do that. Every single one of us can detach and depart from the supposed to's in our lives. And hey, maybe some of them should be there. Maybe some are adding value and stability that you need and maybe even cherish. But I can promise some of them aren't. And it's worth a look. It's worth thinking about those things. Where can we be a little braver, a little more courageous? Where can we venture outside the scope of what we've subconsciously deemed everyday life? I love the notion that there's always more in you. You just need to give yourself permission to pursue it. It only makes sense that no journey begins until we give it the green light. The world is yours once you give yourself permission to pursue it. So what are you conceding? What have you accepted as fact that upon further review you might find to be fiction? There's a world of infinite opportunity waiting for you. Just past your acceptance of the way things are. Just beyond all those supposed to.
Big facts. Big facts. Well, today,
How much did you care?
we started out with a seminar today, baby. Look here. can do a million things in the world rather than wake up and be naked. You know, some people always complain. Just complaining all the time, all the time. Now I mean, you're not realizing the time you take to complain, that you could be doing something positive. You know what I'm saying? You could be doing something positive. Um, Most of the time, the people who are chosen do not even want the title of being chosen. That's not. That's not even what they're like. What they want their life to be about. Um, Claiming chosen and being chosen is two different things. Now, I mean, it's all about your body of work. To be chosen is a body of work. You got to go through the fire. Um, don't put your mind frame based on what other people are and what other people have done. Now, I mean, there's a whole lot of living that you got to do for you. So when you start doing that, hey, look, you'll find peace and happiness in your life. That's all I got to say.